Hello, first graders, and welcome back to another chapter of Junie B. Jones' Cheater Pants. Last time we read chapter 2, where Junie B realized that the assignment was just to write a sentence about what she did over the weekend, and so she put her assignment back in her desk, but we have not yet gotten to where she gets to read, or rather tell what she's going to do. She can't read it because she put it back into her desk. And so I'm wondering what could happen here because what she wrote is going to be different than what she says. So, I don't know. Let's get into it because chapter 3 is called Twitching. Finally, we got to the row right next to mine. That is where Jose and Lenny sit. When Jose's turn came, he smiled very proud. He said on Saturday his daddy bought him brand new soccer shoes and he wore them to his soccer game and he kicked the winning goalie with those things. Lenny went next. He said he got brand new hair gel, plus also he got thickening cream. A thickening cream can make even the thinnest hair feel rich and full, he said. Whoa, I said. Whoa, said Herb and Jose. Whoa is what we say to be supportive. May sits behind Lenny. She stood up and she read her paper real loud. This weekend, one thing I did for fun was, on Saturday I made a pot in my pottery class, and after that I was punctual to my ballet class, and the teacher said I danced like a gazelle. Mr. Scary did a chuckle. A gazelle, huh? He said. A gazelle is a very graceful animal, isn't it? Yes, said May. Would you like to see me do a few steps? After that, she ran to the front of the room and she started to do ballet, but Mr. Scary said to please sit down again. As soon as she got back, I jumped right up. My turn, I said real thrilled. I tapped on my chin. Okay, well, let's see now. On Saturday, my grandpa Frank came to babysit me, and he let me roller skate in the house. Plus, also, he let me jump on mother's bouncy bed. Only pretty soon, I got very pooped. So I ran to the kitchen, and I drank chocolate milk right out of the carton, without even a glass, I mean. Whoa, said Herb. Whoa, said Lenny and Jose. Mr. Scary raised his hand to interrupt. Excuse me, Junie B, he said. It sounds like you had a great time on Saturday, but I'm wondering why you're not reading from your homework paper. Just then, my heart got poundy and nervous, because I should have thought about that problem. I swallowed real hard. Well, let's see, I said kind of quiet. Why aren't I reading? Mr. Scary smiled. It's all right, he said. You can just start over. Just take out your paper and read us what you wrote. After that, I stood there very frozen, and I couldn't even move. Mr. Scary crossed his arms at me. You do have a homework paper, don't you, Junie B? He asked next. I stood there a little while longer. Then finally, I reached into my desk, and I pulled out the homework I copied from May. I waved it in the air kind of weakish. Here it is, I said. Here's my homework paper. See it? It's right here. Mr. Scary nodded. Yes, good. Now could you read it for us, please? He asked. I took a deep breath. Then I looked down at my paper, and I read it silently to just myself. Okay, done, I said. After that, I quick sat down, and I stuffed the paper back into my desk. Mr. Scary came down to where I sit. He said, could you please see my paper? I felt shaky and sickish inside. Very slow, I took out my paper again and handed it over. After he read it, he shook his head. Then he took my hand and he walked me into the hall. It seems that you and May had very similar weekends, doesn't it, Junie B? He said. I did a gulp. Yes, I said, it does. Mr. Scary read my paper once more. So, you take a pottery class, do you? He said. I rocked back and forth on my feet. Yep, I do, I said. I take a pottery class and I make little, pots. And let's see, you take a ballet class too, huh? He said. And gee, what a coincidence. On Saturday, your teacher said you danced like a gazelle, I said very fast. Gazelle, said Mr. Scary. Whatever, I said. My teacher sucked in his cheeks and looked at the paper again. And you were punctual, too, he said. That's amazing, isn't it? I looked up at him now. Well, not if you get an early start, I said kind of soft. Mr. Scary bent down next to me. His face was not jolly. Junie B. Jones, do you have any idea how disappointed I am in you right now? Just then, tears came in my eyes, and I didn't even expect that trouble. I quick hanged my head so he couldn't see. Sorry, I said. Sorry you're disappointed. And here's Mr. Scary having a tough conversation with Junie B. Mr. Scary took a big breath. He said we would talk more at recess. Then he gave me a tissue from his pocket and I wiped my tears. After that, we went back into the room. I sat down at my desk very slumping, 'cause what do you know? I didn't luck out after all. And that is the end of chapter 3. Looks like I was right. What she wrote did not match what she did over the weekend. So, sounds like she's going to get in some trouble. And we're going to find out more about what kind of trouble she gets in chapter 4, which is called Cheater Pants. All right? I'll see you tomorrow.